Blog Talk Radio.
Yeah, hey, yeah, hey, yeah, hey, yo, hey, yeah, hey, yeah, hey, yeah, hey, yo. Hey, yeah, hey, yeah, hey, yo, hey, yeah, hey, yeah, hey, yeah, hey, yo.
Aquani, greetings and peace. This is Penny Gamble Williams here on The Talking Feather, here on Blog Talk Radio. And it is great to be here on this beautiful evening with Grandmother Moon shining on us. We are in the winter solstice, and it's wonderful. Well, we are going to be talking about our health, and we have a very special guest who will be joining us, Dr. Khadijah Abdulmalik, and we are going to relearn, rethink, and rewrite our personal health care. Yes, that's exactly what we're going to be doing, and we're excited to have her here again with us. You know, here on the Talking Feather, we amplify the voice of indigenous people throughout the globe. We talk about community issues and all kinds of issues here, and that keeps us plugged in and connected. So with that, I'm going to connect with the Great Spirit and say the prayer. Kitanit. Numaka ni witamog. Alki. Numaka ni witamog. Ukamas. Nupashat. Numaka ni witamog. Wuta chi kriasun. Nupawas. Numaka ni witamog. Jabat nuayan. Numagani witmog eu nushik alki, wampanayu, sawanayu, patanayu, nanamayu. Great Spirit, I offer this tobacco. Grandmother Moon, I offer this tobacco. Mother Earth, I offer this tobacco. Grandfather Sun, I offer this tobacco. I offer this tobacco to the four directions, to the east, to the south, to the west, to the north. And I say, Tabatni, thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, you know, we have to really think and relearn and rewrite our personal health care. In order to do this, we must adjust our mode of thinking and realize that our health is in our own hands. And the good news is we have choices, and Dr. Khadijah Abdulmalik is with us, and she has lots of things that she's going to guide us through this, and I'm going to bring her up right now and welcome her. Greetings, Dr. Khadijah.
Aquani, and greetings to everyone. Peace and love. I'm so excited to be able to share with your audience today.
Yes, it's beautiful to have you here because this information is so needed right now for all of us. And you know, one of the things that I want to ask you is, because we need this information, how does one start to relearn and rethink and rewrite a personal health care?
That's a good question to start off with, because actually, Penny, to tell you, after we did the show Sunday, that was the calls and the emails that I received. And for those people that went out and actually looked at the flyer, they asked me about the little paragraph that was on the flyer. So what I thought I would do tonight was I would start off reading that information that's on the flyer to invite people to come relearn, rethink, and rewrite their personal health care plan with me starting in January. And then I will actually tell people how to do that. So let's just say I'm going to give about a 10-minute lecture, and then we can communicate about that.
Great.
Okay, so I'll start off with, on the flyer it says, relearn, rethink, and rewrite your personal health care plan. Attend this workshop. And it also says, do you know the true power of your thoughts? The truth is stunning. And what I wrote was that a German physicist and one of the founding fathers of quantum theory, Max Planck, said that all matter generates and exists only by virtue of a force, which brings the particles of an atom to vibration, which holds the atom together. We must assume behind this force is the existence of a conscious and intelligent mind. This mind is the matrix of all matter, and this is what we must align our thoughts with, the true matrix. So in other words, the substance of the universe, of your reality, is nothing more than consciousness or thought. Consciousness forms the building blocks of the universe, and everywhere that consciousness explores with the expectation that something will be there, it also creates. So your thoughts are created. You are creating your life. So to change your current reality, all you need to do is change the frequency of your thoughts. We're talking about rising in consciousness and looking at what we have been calling health care and really seeing if it's health care or disease care. So I'll tell you how we can do that. When we think spiritual health, we experience a renewal of mind and a transformation of body. You have the divine gift to turn any thought into reality, so-called good or bad. The head, the brain, is an energy plant, a factory. It is not our mind, our thoughts. It is processing information into a chemical form for our body to perform as a human being. And like later in this conversation, I will tell you how your thoughts vibrate into the physical being, into our health state. But I tell you, I wrote an article in July of 2007 for the Washington Informer that said, change your perspectives, a new paradigm in health care, the creator's way or man's way. And I believe that our thoughts are been based in the man's way and not the creator's way on how to care for our health. So what I want to do is help people realign with that matrix and change the way they're thinking from man's way to the intelligent mind's way. So conscious living through living consciously is my mantra for my practice and what I do. I'm not an allopathic doctor. I practice in the field of quantum health and healing, and there's really no certification for that except for the fact that you were born with this understanding. So living consciously is the key to self-awareness, and that's the whole key to understanding about rewriting and relearning. We are talking about how to relearn, rethink, and rewrite your personal health care and the contents of that workshop that I'm going to be giving to help you really apply it to your everyday life. So in order to do that, I'm going to re-mention what I mentioned on the show Sunday about the two words that we need to give a new definition to understand how we begin to rewrite and rethink. So we have to create a new definition for the word disease. So the way I see disease is from the Revealing Words definition. What is disease or disease? It is an inharmonious condition in mind and body brought about by error thinking. And that's the key word. Organic disease has its origin in mind as truly as any other manifestation. It has because subconscious and needs the power of the intelligent mind to reach and to dissolve the error thoughts that are causing a disease. And that's why we must realign ourselves back with the matrix to correct the error thoughts. So you may say, what is the error thought? How do we define that? Again, in the Revealing Words, we define it as something that is untrue. We have been given the truth with a lie. That's to keep us on an unnatural train ride so they can control us. So error thoughts represents beliefs in thoughts and beliefs not of intelligent mind. Error thoughts have no foundation in truth. So the error of thoughts are originating in the intellect of man. And we want to change that thought back to the truth of who we really are. So this intellect that we use to define health care is really disease care. So our thoughts are really centered on disease care and not health care. Why? Because our intellect comes from learned behavior, of patterns of disease thinking and disease care, not health care. Because you know how they have all these messages coming to us from television shows, from the FDA, and everywhere you turn there's an issue, there's a problem, there's something that you have going wrong. I mean, from stomping the toe. You know what I'm talking about, Penny?
I know.
So we have to change our thinking from that. So in order to rewrite our personal health care plan, see, you must first become aware of this state of consciousness that you are in a state of disease care and not health care. And why? Because awareness is the first step in making any change in our lives. And like we talked about Sunday, we talked about the ABCs. Remember the ABCs that we talked about?
Yes, and I want to let people know that when you refer to Sunday, Thunder and I have a radio program that's on an AM station, WOL 1450 AM, a part of Radio 1, and it's in Washington, D.C. And we had Dr. Khadijah on our show this past Sunday, as we have had the last couple of months. And we are introducing this series called Circle of the Whole Self, which we will be doing on our Sunday program on WOL and continuing it on our Blog Talk radio show on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
And it's www.wolam.com. So please continue.
Okay. So we talked about the ABCs. So just to remind and to tell the new listeners what we talked about when we talked about the ABCs, becoming aware of what you're thinking about your health care. So, again, the A is for awareness. We must become aware of what we say that we are aware of and how we are applying what we say we are aware of, and are we getting the results that we want from what we are aware of. And that means we have to look at our behaviors, our patterns, our beliefs, our values, and what we're using to say what we're doing, and is it a match from our consciousness, from the words we speak, and our actions. So how do we do that? We must be conscious of that we say that we are aware of in our behavior. So that's C. So how do we actually do that? First is to become aware. If you are aware that disease is not normal, it's not who you are in nature, it's something that man has created, then you will understand that it is a learned, unconscious, habitual pattern. And you can consciously make the choice not to think and live this way. The same way that the standard top 7 or 5D so-called diseases, that is a thought that you're having that. You're not really having it. You don't really have disease. And that's what we have to look at, because it's a choice to think that you have it and that you need drugs and surgery to correct it, but it's not true. You're just out of balance. So the truth has been twisted with a lie, like I said, to keep you on an unnatural train ride, to keep you blinded to the truth. You got a filter on that's holding you back from keeping you to, reminding you of who you are. Because, see, we are experiencing cellular malfunctions because you are having a self-organized breakdown within, because we're breaking the principles and the laws of health. And that's the mental, nutritional, the emotional, and the physical laws of health. And we have to look at that from the spiritual realm and not from man's realm and what those words mean.
This is really something to wrap your mind around for a lot of people. It has taken me a while to come to this understanding. But it doesn't happen overnight with a lot of people, because we've been so brainwashed. Yeah. And I think back on conversations that I've had with people, and I think about people in my own family, my grandmother and some of her friends when I was growing up. It seemed like most people expected that they're going to get arthritis, they're going to get rheumatism, and all of these little things because of their age. And people used to sit around and talk about, my arthritis or my this or my that. And people start to become that.
Right, because that's what we picked up on, and that's what we were told, that when you reach a certain age, you're going to feel this way. But we can look around and see that's not true. On my website, I have a video of a gentleman named Bernardo. He's 109 years old, and for a century he's been a raw eater. And he's walking around, and he has more energy than some of these 20-year-olds out here. So it's all about how you... Go ahead.
Yeah, no, go on. I'm just getting excited about all this.
Yes, it's about how we're thinking and how we're raised, and like I said, it's learned behavior. And we have to realize that this is not health care. And why can I say that? Because I'll add in this last part. We often talk about going with the flow. And why? Because that is what you were created to do. We are nature. We are part of nature. We have to stop looking into nature and realize that we are nature and remind ourselves of our true connection of who we are. You are an energetic being having a human experience, and we need to stop living from the humanality of it and go back to understanding it as the energetic being. Think about this. Everything that has been created has a natural flow, and when it operates in that flow, there's no struggle. When we think about disease, we are struggling. We are in this panic state. We are in this anxious state. We're trying to find out how to get rid of it, how not to get it, and what we need to do, and we fall in man's way, and it's keeping us all confused. You create your world according to your thoughts, and that's why I say the first step is to become aware. So this is the first seed that we're planting, and we're planting at a good time, aren't we? Right?
We are.
We're planting the first seed right now at a good time with a lot of people are setting back, being renewed and being reborn and trying to regenerate themselves. So here's a seed that we can plant now. How have I really been thinking about my health care, and what have I been really thinking about it? So to change our thoughts and you change your life, let's stop struggling with disease and let's flow with health care. Water does not struggle to flow. Grass does not struggle to grow. Wind does not struggle to blow. Rain does not struggle to fall. The sun does not struggle to shine, and that dictates how we take care of our life. The sun, we are nature, and the earth does not struggle to rotate. Flowers do not struggle to bloom. So what should this tell us? If we are nature and we are from nature and we're not from this evolution of another species, we are what we are. We're nature and we are a part of it. So struggling is unnatural, and man does not have to struggle to have a healthy body and a life free from disease care and disease thinking. You can make a difference. Choose your thoughts differently. Choose the way you are thinking. Why sentence ourselves to a life of struggle when it is clearly unnatural? So the question becomes, why keep yourself in a mind-made prison?
Whoa. I want you to kind of go back to something when you talked about the cellular malfunction. I want to talk a little bit more about that, because when you talk about cellular malfunction, you're also talking about how our system works and what it is we put into our systems and why we, I guess, end up with certain cellular malfunctions.
Right, because they're not diseases. You're correct. Yeah, go ahead.
Right. So, I mean, talk a little bit more about that. When you talked about the man that's Bernardo, 109, he eats a lot of greens.
Yeah.
He eats a lot of raw foods.
Right. He does some other things, too, but what I want to do is I want to finish up this struggling thought and the last part about consciousness, and that's going to take me into bringing in how our thoughts become into that chemical reaction in our bodies in the world. So in short, what I'm saying is struggle is a learned response, and that's what we're responding to, something that was told us how to respond. You got a cough coming up. Think it's a cold. Come get some cough syrup. It's a learned response. So we have to look at that and see what we're doing. That has been taught to us by those who are in mindset of keeping you hoping and praying for a cure to a fictitious named disease. Again, it's a learned response, has become an unconscious habitual pattern of thought, and you must change it to root yourself from disease thinking and realize, again, like you're talking about, that we have these cellular malfunctions, and that includes a thought malfunction too. So we got to correct the thinking about what we think disease is. Remember the definitions that I gave early. That's what we're talking about. So how do you change the real from disease thoughts? And then you know that's going to manifest in the body much better, because that's the first form of food, Penny. It's the thought, and that will be put in to take care of the physical body. Because remember, the energetic body governs the physical body. And so we have to have our thoughts right. We have to have the right information coming in. We have to be connected to that matrix, to the truth of who we are. And then our bodies are going to function correctly, and then they will produce and give us the power that we want according to how we feed the cell environment. So how do we change the real from a diseased thought? By rising in consciousness. It's like this time of year, it's a time for new birth of thoughts, the awakening of man to a consciousness of his unity with one universal love, the laws of vibrational energy, and that's what's happening right now. The change from a low-level thinking to a higher level of thinking about this situation, anything you want to think about, because we know that we must get in a rhythm with nature, and this is the time to do that. And when we do that, we're not struggling. We're moving along fine. Let's see if we can stop struggling. Let's focus our attention on this. It's like, here's a little metaphor. Nothing you want is upstream. Let's stop struggling. Water does not struggle to flow upstream. Everything you want is downstream. So this means you do not have to struggle. Let's stop paddling upstream. And let's look at the paddling as our thoughts. To have it, we don't have to really think about it. If you need to do is to put yourself in the boat and the boat stream and let it carry you. In fact, you don't need to paddle at all. Even if your boat is pointed in the wrong direction upstream, as soon as you stop paddling, as soon as you stop thinking about it, working on it and thinking, as soon as you let that paddle go, the stream will turn the boat around without any effort on your part. Just sit back and relax and just let the universe show you who you really are again, to remind you of nature. Then you will be going in the right direction where everything you desire takes place. This is simple but powerful metaphor. Give up the struggle once and for all. Let go of the paddles. Trust that source. Trust everything you innately know that you are. It's all in us, Penny. We just keep fighting ourselves to live according to the outer. We must live according to what's in, because that's the true way that we're creating our world. So let go of the paddles and trust the source of energy, intellect, mind. It will guide you downstream to your desires. And so let's start enjoying the trip. And just like Dr. Martin Luther King said, faith is taking the first step, even when you don't see the whole staircase.
I like that. Definitely. That's something that we really need to think about and carry with us. And it gets back to the ABCs, becoming aware and understanding what you put in your mind. It's about shifting your behavior. And
that's the key.
About raising your consciousness and understanding that we are beings, we are spiritual beings, and we have this energy, and we give out energy and we attract energy, and we have to be careful about what kind of energy we do attract, and raising your consciousness really does help balance that energy.
Right.
Because when you have a better understanding about, we have a better understanding about who we are and our connection to this universe.
Yeah, that's why quantum physics says that the bottom line is that we are energy and information, and that's how we create our reality. Your thoughts are creating the world that you are in, and you can literally say that all that you are is a result of all that you have thought. So if you don't like what your results are right now, you don't like what you're seeing, know that it does not lie in allopathic and thinking in terms of like that. It lies in you making a choice to make changes. And just like you said, Bernardo, when I saw this video about this 100 years of eating right, I was more sold on raw then than anything. He do eat some cooked food, but that's lightly steamed vegetables and things like that, and a little bit of fish. But for 100 years, he's been almost a raw eater, because the body performs better in a mucus environment. It must be clean to generate the energy. And that's what we're talking about. How do your thoughts translate into the chemical world of man? So let's just talk about the cells of the body and what we need for them. Our cells are the smallest living units of our bodies, and each cell is like a tiny factory. Each cell must be nourished completely and constantly, and the waste products efficiently eliminated. If this is not done, the cells will either function inefficiently or they would die. Cells cannot live in their own waste. It must be a clean environment. Health begins and ends at the cellular level, and that's for the physical body, because remember, we are electrical beings, and the electrical body governs the physical body through our thinking. Remember, that's the first food. So the manifested being and is here where we must focus our attention on how to nutritionally care for the cells. So as in this physical form, there is the way that the cells generate its energy, turn its power on, and that is how we feed the physical cells. Our cells must be fed and cleansed if they are to function efficiently, and the environment must be kept in the dry state. And the dry state is the state where the cells can receive the oxygen, the minerals, and the information that's given through the bloodstream. So the first stage in meeting the nutritional requirement is digestion. What are you putting in your mouth and saying to yourself that when your body gets through digesting it and the body begins to absorb, at the end of that process, is it nutrition? That's what we have to ask ourselves. Are the foods we eating, will it serve the purpose of turning the pumps on and allowing it to create electricity, to create the power? So if you're eating denatured, dead, cooked, processed, refined foods 24/7, all the time, every day, and think that you're nourishing your body because you are just eating cooked vegetables. I'm a vegan. I'm just eating cooked vegetables, and that's all I eat. No meat, no dairy. Ask yourself, is there any life in that food?
That is the question.
So if there's no life in that food,
it.
how are you nourishing your body? So therefore, you're not able to generate power. So things are going to slow down and move sluggishly, and they're going to call it something because of that area is now being flooded. It's not receiving any oxygen, any nutrients, any minerals. It can't function right. It doesn't have any instructions as to what to do. It's all confused because it started in thought, because we thought the foods that we were eating, that we were told was good foods, a part of the pyramid group, and this is everything you need to be healthy. That's not true. We generate on less. We need a clean environment, and all the cells need is the minerals and vitamins and the proper balance of nutrients to generate this energy. And that's what we have to look at. And our blood is responsible for that. And we must keep our cells clean. The environment in our body must be clean, and it's not. And when it happens that way and our power pumps cannot come on and we have low generation, then we think that we have a disease. But what we really having is what, Penny? Cellular malfunctions.
That's right.
Because we have not fed the body properly, so the cells can't do its job. It's not a disease. You're not catching it. And when you step up to quantum health and healing, you learn about epigenetics versus genetics and genes. You can't say that I inherited it. So we have to come up to the new frontier, to the new information. We're still living and working on the old information of Pastorian and Darwin's age, and it's been in us for so long that we can't see the truth. But if we be still, we can. So you ask yourself, what are the main factors affecting health? That's the same thing that we must look at in terms of cellular ecology and also our thoughts and, again, our digestion. The main factors that are affecting health is and the prime ecology variables are face. You can always think about it when you look at your face. The body must filtration. That's your lymphatic system. And we're going to get more into that, talking about the filtration. And then you have assimilation. Just because you ingest something doesn't mean your body is absorbing it, because we have to make sure that the environment is correct for it to be absorbed. That means we need the oxygen and we need the right environment. So F-A, assimilation, C, circulation. If things are not circulating, if your circulatory system is not able to feed yourself the oxygen, the minerals, the information, then how any other area of the body is going to function?
It's just not going to function correctly. So
we got to,
we need live food. We need clean water.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to be able to move, exercise, and proper breathing.
Right.
So the oxygen get to all the areas to feed the cells.
That's it. So in terms of the main factors, we got filtration, we got assimilation, we got circulation, and we have elimination. Our organs must eliminate the waste. And like this time of the year, winter season, we know that that's all about all our eliminating organs, the kidneys, the bladders. We're looking at these things being able to remove. See, this is a magnificent time because if we look outside and we know about the lymphatic system and this winter solstice is a time to be still, to listen, to allow your body to regenerate, to come back into its natural rhythm. When we look at the trees, that tree isn't dead, that tree isn't naked. It reminds you of your lymphatic system because that's what you look like. If we take away this skin that we all caught up in and look to see who we are, we're going to look like that branch out there, the nakedness of the tree. The lymphatic system is throughout the whole body, and it looks like a tree. So we want to make sure that that is functioning well, your lymphatic system, because filtration, assimilation, circulation, elimination, and you have the digestion issues because you want to make sure you're eating food that's going to actually nourish the body and not clog, stop, and create blockages, allowing the water not to flow, allowing things not to happen. So, and the stress. What is stress? Stress is really what you're thinking and the definition that you're giving to that thought. So if you think struggle, you think heartache, you think pain, you're going to get that. That's your stress. And stress keeps the body in an unnatural rhythm. In order for the body to heal or to maintain health, it only can do one function at a time. It can't be in a protective mode when you're trying to say, I want to heal, I'm growing, and you're giving all these situations to the body. It's in a protection mode, so therefore it can't grow and be healthy because it's trying to protect itself. We had to come out of the fight or flight state, and that's coming out of man's thinking. And when we rest assured in what we know and who we are as an intellectual, intelligent being, we're not struggling.
And what's interesting, that's being perpetuated on the news every day when you look at the state of the world and what we're fed constantly, through sound bites and all of these things, terrorism and war, and, all of this plays an important part of our health and our mental attitude, our state of mind. And I hear what you're saying, and if we are able to relearn, rethink, and rewrite our personal health care plan, all of that is included because, we have these choices. How we look at the state of the world plays a big part in how we feel about who we are on this planet.
Yeah, that's why I say we have to look at what we're aligning ourselves with in this physical world and how it's really vibrating in our bodies. It goes back to how we left the show on Sunday when we talked about the Cherokee, the tale with the grandfather talking to the grandson, telling him about principles of life. And remember we talked about there's two wolves inside, and which one are we going to feed the most? And so we have to look at that because the equation oxygen equals pump equals electricity equals powers. All that happens because the breath of life, breathing, activates the tree of life, the lymphatic system. And if that system isn't functioning, we can truly leave this planet within 24 hours because if it does not continuously move out the excess protein within the intestinal area where the cells receive oxygen and nutrients, then that can totally shut down. You already see that it causes stagnation. And when it causes that stagnation and then that organ in that area holds on to all that toxin, say it's the pancreas, they're going to say that you have diabetes when all you have is a pancreas that's flooded and needs to have that flood from the lymphatic vessels pull it out so it can receive the oxygen and the minerals so it can live.
I'm going to ask you to pause for 1 second. I want people to know who they're listening to. Our special guest is Dr. Khadijah Abdulmalik, And she is talking about relearning, rethinking, and rewriting our personal health care plan. And, I want you also to back up here for a second. That Cherokee story, please tell that story.
Oh, okay. I'll tell it all the way. It says, the story of an old Cherokee tale of a grandfather who was teaching life principles to his grandson. The wise old Cherokee said, "Son, on the inside of every person, a battle is raging between two wolves. One wolf is evil, is angry, jealous, unforgiving, proud, and lazy. The other wolf is good, is filled with love, kindness, humility, and self-control. These two wolves are constantly fighting," the grandfather said. The little boy thought about it and said, "Grandfather, which wolf is going to win?" And the grandfather smiled and said, "Whichever one you feed." So let's just take that back into where we are right now as an adult. The tale of the two wolves is also the story of an old but neglected truth not taught to many, but everyone should know this and teach their children. So the real wolves there are two forces, two wills within us. In every person, there's two wills. One, the will of the human self, and the other, the will of the divine self. In between these two forces, there is a continuous running battle. That is, if you are struggling in man's world and have not learned the truth that I'm telling you tonight so you can stop struggling, become aware of how you show your understanding of the big I and the little I. It's the same thing as the two wolves, the great me and the little me. The me that breathes in, the great me breathes in and know I'm a partner, that I am connected to the field, the force of intelligence. The little me, I'm breathing out, the little man, the human side of me. So the two separate wills that are within you, the will of the human self, the will of the divine self, are parts of your nature, and we must realize that you have been given the freedom to choose between the two. What will are you going to live by? What will is going to govern you? And it's to remind you which one that you should, that's the power in the breath. You want to breathe in and know that you're breathing in God's understanding, and you're breathing out man's lack of understanding. And stay connected, so your lymphatic system and your body can take care of you, because the breath of life activates the lymphatic system. That's the first lymphocyzer, is your lungs. It's given to you through nature to control your connection to God and your connection to taking care of your body. The circulatory system is pumped by the heart. The heart gets weak because the circulatory system is blocked. It's stagnated. The oxygen is not coming through. It's corroded. It has cholesterol in it. But those things can be corrected naturally through the raw diet or through proper nutraceuticals, like we talked about before when we talked about Proarginine 9+. It cleans that out. So when you take care of your circulatory system, you are now taking care of your heart. We focus on the heart and not the circulatory system. And when we take care of that system, then that means our lymphatic system, our purification system, can take care of purifying the body and keeping the environment correct. So we have to change the way we're looking at things.
I would like for people to know about you, and you have been in the healthcare world for over 25 years, and that you are the creator of the Arc of Self-Healing and Self-Help and founder of 4 Advanced Holistic Health, HELP Foundation, and that's Health Education for Longevity and Peace. And as you said earlier, you practice a non-secular science of medicine as a preventive medicine.
Yes, ma'am.
You're a lymphology doctor, and this is one of the areas that you specialize in, and
right.
Helping people understand the lymphatic system.
And how important it is, yeah.
Absolutely. And I would like for you to talk about the lymphatic system. I know that's something that you covered here on Blog Talk Radio the last time you were with us, but just to give an overview.
Okay.
And then after that, I would like for you to give out your information so people can get in touch with you.
Okay, just a quick overview of the lymphatic system. It is our purification system. Its main function is to keep our cells in the dry state. That's the state so that it can receive the nutrients, the oxygen, create the electricity and power. The environment is not flooded, doesn't have all this excess sodium and excess fluid in it. So by removing the excess fluid, the protein, the sodium, and other substances that leak out of the blood vessels, then your body can perform properly. The lymphatic system function. This is what it's functioned for. It is a natural process that purifies the body, and it regulates irritation, because that's the first sign there's something going on with your body. I'm feeling something, but I don't quite know what it is. That's irritation. That's your lymphatic system is not able to purify and do its job. And when that is at ease, then you are really going to have cellular malfunctions. So we have to get that activated. If we don't get it activated soon, then you're going to step into what we call soreness and inflammation. Because of that excess fluid and excess sodium, that flood, it's going to start seeping into the tissues, the cavities, the actual cells of the organ. It's going to cause inflammation. And that's why you're now hearing that it's not just asthma, it's also inflammation. Well, it's always been that because the cells are in a flooded state, and we must purify that. And that is the lymphatic system job. There is no water pill that's going to remove that fluid. It's the lymphatic's job to purify that. And if it doesn't, then your body's going to show externally, it's going to show the swelling, it's going to show edema. You see the fat fingers, the fat hands, and the fat legs, because the lymphatic system is now in trouble. So how do you support the lymphatic system? The number one thing is breathing. And that's why breathing is so important, because it helps move the lymphatic system along. It's your first lymphocyzer. And then we tie into what we call a lymphocyzer externally, but y'all call it a trampoline. And everybody has been using it incorrectly, but if you learn how to use it, it's going to support the lymphatic system with moving all that excess sodium out. The other ways is, Penny, all the healing arts work. And why do they work in harmony with you correcting your health? Because they move lymphatics, they free up energy, and they allow the body to function and correct itself naturally. The diet, qigong, breathology, reflexology, anything that you can think of in nature is what we need to use to correct the body. So the greatest health discovery was knowing that if we do not move these blood proteins, and the lymphatic system is the only thing that can do it, because the greatest discovery was from Dr. Arthur C. Guyton in 1961 when he discovered the dry state. So the lymphatic system is very crucial, just as crucial as your circulatory system and your digestive system into maintaining your health.
Wow.
Okay,
well,
so I can be reached at number 202-248-7749, and my website is www.4, CELL, and the word life, LIFE.com. And on that website, you can see the information for the Relearn, Rethink workshop that starts in January, and you have all the information on epigenetics, all the new frontier, what we're using now to determine our health as an energetic being. The website is a learning website, it's a teaching website, because, again, it's the arc of self-healing and self-help. And how you help yourself is through education. So it's health education for longevity and peace. And that's what I try to do.
This is really powerful information, and it is empowering for us to be able to know that we have this choice, and it's really up to us to take the time to learn about our body, our system, to get in tune with it. And, we must stay in sync with the natural order, the natural laws of the universe.
Yes. And
understand, I know I sound like a broken record with this one, staying in that mindset of connectedness, because we are so connected to this world, to plant life, to animal life, to the planets, and to this earth, to the trees. When you talked about how our circulatory system looks like the branches of the trees in the wintertime. I mean,
the lymphatic system,
the lymphatic system.
That's what it looks like.
Rather, and everything is connected within our body. And I think, I guess this Western society, Western way of viewing things, we tend to separate everything, and when you start separating everything, you don't see yourself as being connected. We're looking at everything, as well. This is the problem here, and that's what you have to do for that. Not thinking that you have to do something for the whole self.
And that's what you just hit on, Penny. That's the key word. Everything is separated. It's keeping you separate from who you are, and you have to come up to conscious, loving mind. And that's what's happening with the fourth dimension. People are talking about 2012. 2012 is happening now, and it's talking about there's a new dimension where the new dimension is here on Earth now. They're talking about new frequencies that are here. And remember what I said earlier about Max Planck. You must change the vibrational frequency of your thoughts to realign itself. And it's easier now, people. We don't have to struggle to do this. How can I change my thoughts? How can I stop thinking like that? Just relax. It's going to naturally be in you. You're going to hear it, and you're going to know it, and you're going to know that it lies in you. And please believe me when I tell you that there are no diseases, cellular malfunctions, and you can control them. And I don't care what they label them, from cancer to whatever they call it. It is a cellular malfunction because you have not given your body what it needs through your thinking and through your doing and through your attitude. And you can change this. And when you start doing it, believe me, you'll feel good, you'll know it, and you're going to want to keep doing it.
This is something that we must teach our little ones and find ways to incorporate this information with our children and any children that we come in contact.
I'm going to tell you, it's a great book, and I was talking about, when we talk about the woods and we talk about the big eye and the little eye, it's a great book that was put out by Lou Austin. It's called, and it's for children, but I often do it in my workshop with the adults. It's called The Little Me and the Great Me, and we show people through breath how you are connected to God, because we teach kids that to change your behavior and be in harmony with people, think about the great me when you breathe in, and think about the little me when you breathe out, and then you want to become in balance. So this is a great book, and I'll share it with you so you can share it with the children, because when we teach them how to make that choice about the wills, then we wouldn't have this struggle now as adults trying to figure out how do we change our thinking.
I know, because there's such confusion with so many of us out here about what to do, who we are, how what it is we're supposed to do, and if you depend on television for your information in terms of the commercials that are out that tell you need this pill, you need that pill, and there are 50 million side effects with everything, that causes confusion. And really, it's all about stopping, being silent, going within, and deciding enough of that. I want to, chart a new path.
Okay, so I can end with this, and that's good, because physician, heal thyself. You are the physician. You know what your body needs better than anyone else. And that's why I was amazed when people come to me and I start working with them and they realize that they was out of tune with their own body, and I'm guiding them into knowing how to be in tune with their body. And then they realize that they are not looking for the field, that they are the field, that you don't look into nature, you know that you are nature. You have
That's
the power.
Right. We are a microcosm of the universe.
Right. We have the power to take the formless and form it into whatever you desire. And that's why I love Eckhart Tolle's book, Stillness Speaks. He says many things in your life matters, but only one thing matters absolutely, and that is knowing that you are an energetic being and you are governed by your thinking, and realign your thoughts with the intelligent mind, and you will not be struggling, people. It will be easy. I was amazed when my consciousness changed over and relaxed and allowed this to be. I live in harmony and peace because I do not have any disease or thought of a disease. And when I'm in cellular malfunctions, I ask myself, what law did I break today? What did I think wrong? What did I eat wrong? Was I moving around? Was I stagnated? What emotional feelings have got control of me? And I reverse that, and I change the way I think. I imprint a new thought with that. I change the definition to be what I want, to get the results that I want. And I thank God that I am in control of my thoughts. And people, I tell you, so are you.
Wow, beautifully said. Shifting the paradigm, walking a new road for better health, relearning, rethinking, and rewriting our personal health care. I want to thank you so much for the work that you do in the community here in the Washington, D.C. area and spreading this information all over because we so need it.
I thank you so much for giving me the platform. Giving me the platform to speak, because people, it's time to bury